broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
This is for Kristen.
Slam the door, girl.
This is for you, girl.
Let it go, said one reality star to another. Oh, hey, Pump Rules fans. This is AfterBuzz TV's Vanderpump Rules After Show. My name is Christy Olson. You can tweet along with us at #ABTVPumpRules.
And I am Megan Stecher. You guys can tweet me if you want to tweet me exclusively, if you want to.
Hit her up.
It's at Megan Stecher on Twitter. Yeah, #ABTVPumpRules.
Love it. My name is Christy Olson. You can tweet me at Christy Report. But before we get started today, I have a little something that I'm pretty excited about. There's a new show hitting TV, and it's a good one, people. What if your son was murdered? Your daughter arrested, your child framed. Where does the truth lie? One crime will affect so many lives in the television event of the year. We are talking, of course, about ABC's groundbreaking new TV series, American Crime, which premieres Thursday, March 5th, 10/9 Central, of course, on ABC. I know we'll be watching. The series is created by John Ridley. He's the Oscar-winning screenwriter of 12 Years a Slave. I know you guys know who he is. Stars Felicity Huffman and Timothy Hutton, and centers around issues like race, class, gender, politics, all the juicy stuff. So be sure to check it out. It's called American Crime on ABC, starting Thursday, March 5th at 10/9 Central. I'll be tuning in. How about you, girl?
It looks so good. I have goosebumps just hearing about it.
I know, right? We love our juicy TV around here. So let's delve right in now to Vanderpump Rules, people. Another good episode. We are not going to let this Miami thing go, are we?
Well, we're ramping up toward the end here, so it's getting so good. All the bombs toward the end are exploding right now.
It's that mix of emotions. We're like, no, we're sad it's going to be over, but then the reunion comes and gives us everything that we can hold on to for another year.
And you know that the final episode is always like the episode of the season. It's always like the most crazy, juicy, unexpected explosions. It's like, you cheated, he cheated, I cheated. Like something always happens that you don't expect. And it seems like we've been going through a lot of cheating this whole season. So I'm interested to see if anything else comes to light or if someone cops up to something that they were denying. We'll see.
Yeah, the way the cast is already talking about it, it sounds like it was pretty juicy and heinous for them.
Let me guess. It all goes down at Sir.
Of course it does. Of course it does. And the first scene of last night's episode went down at Sir as well. It seemed like it was kind of like a recap, get everyone up to date sort of a thing, right? So we hear Jack saying that Carmen didn't stick with him at the wedding. I say, good for you, girl. Way to stick to your guns, right?
Yes. I don't know what goes on with those two.
I don't think anyone does. I'm pretty sure Carmen doesn't know.
Yeah. Carmen, come on, pretty girl. You can find somebody better than Jax.
Yeah. We were glad though that she shut him down at the wedding. That was
hilarious. When he was so desperate that first of all, I just like to say my prediction was correct, and he did go hit on a bridesmaid.
Yes.
And hit on Lisa. I mean, lost his dang mind, that one.
Oh boy.
Jax, you're a piece of work.
Right. Well, another piece of work in my opinion is Miss Christina, who continues to be inserted in by the producers so that she can keep Stassi up to date and whatever. And this conversation with her and Katie, right, about the wedding, I was sort of like, why are you looking for the dirt? Why do you not want to hear that it was good? Like, what's going on in your life that's you just want the negative part of it, right? They're making her look like kind of a jerk.
Yeah, I mean, if I were her, I'd be like scared to go to work. All the crap talking she did with Stassi all season, it's kind of like, watch your back, girl. But it seemed to me like she felt very left out. is kind of what I got from it. And she wanted to know, she wanted someone to console her, and it's like, oh, you know, it wasn't that great, you didn't miss anything, but no, it was a great wedding, and you were the only one not there, you and Stassi.
Wah, wah. Christina. So then also Katie relays to her the story of the ring on a string, and Christina's confused because we're all confused because we still don't quite get the point of the ring on a string. But what I thought was really interesting is that Katie has taken the ring off of the string and put it on her finger.
So it's on her right hand and not her engagement,
not the finger.
Right, which I noticed. And it's also this was my favorite part, it's coupled with a ring that has a little skeleton face on it, and I thought that was so funny. It was kind of like the death ring coupled up with the ring on a string from Tom. Just a little symbolic, in my opinion.
Those two are this close to imploding, in my opinion. We might see it happen. Scheana bursts in, however, and talks about her lovely bridal affair. She's gone on her honeymoon in Maui, and
she looks so pretty and tan.
So good, so good. And if you checked her Instagram during the time when she was in Maui, they had a crazy trip. They did some amazing things. It looks like it was beautiful. I am dying to know if it was all paid for. We didn't see it on the show, so I'm thinking maybe not. We know she had her tooth settlement, but it sounds either way like it was a fairy tale excursion.
Well, the pictures are on Bravo right now. Pictures are on bravotv.com. They just put the slideshow up. And I had friends go to Hawaii for their honeymoon, and for part of their wedding gifts, they asked for excursions in Hawaii.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if maybe they did the same thing. It was kind of like, don't give us cash, or don't give us, you know, a dish set, we don't care. It's buy us these fun things to do in Hawaii. So my friends' things included like a golf trip and helicoptering and things like that. So it sounds like they did a lot of the same stuff, and maybe
that's kind of in the spirit of how Scheana did this whole wedding.
That's true.
So that would make sense to have asked people to buy it for you as a gift.
So smart, that Scheana.
Yes, she really is. We gotta give it to her. And then she gives it to James. They have a little convo, and again, James is standing up for Kristen, which I have a little bit of a problem with. He's making excuses for her, and I was surprised by how upset Scheana was by it, because I was kind of thinking, oh, nobody even saw it happen. What difference does it make? But then she said on Watch What Happens Live that she had family members that were leaving at that time, and people definitely saw this go down and were wondering what the heck was going on.
Right. And then she did say, once I saw it on the show, I realized it really wasn't a big deal, and like, sorry, my apologies. But I understand how she misconstrued and thought people saw it and it was embarrassing. And if I heard anyone fist fought at my wedding, I'd be pretty pissed too. Even though I'm not married nor engaged. Hey, boyfriend, are you watching? But no, was James's conversation with Lisa before or after his conversation with
with
Scheana?
Lisa? Yes. I misspoke, y'all.
But was it first? It was first in the episode?
So, yeah.
I really enjoyed that conversation.
She gives the best advice.
She does give really good advice.
Just listen to whatever she says and do it.
I know. It's not like I don't want Kristen and James to break up, but I mean, it was great advice from her standpoint. She could be right. I don't know. Whatever.
And she just knows how to get through to these young people, I feel like. These youngins.
Well, it's just like talking to your mom.
She's not too much. She doesn't say like, well, you just need to break up with her because she's a this and this. It's not her MO. That's not how she approaches it.
Right. Well, she puts it very eloquently. But you know, it's funny. It's kind of like talking to your mom, where you're really not going to take her advice unless you actually deep down really do feel that way. So I think that's what goes right. I think that like she had a lot of great talks with Katie this season, and it's like, well, Katie hasn't taken her advice yet, but Katie knew they were all full of good advice. So
a lot of good little chats this episode. There was Lisa and James, Stassi and Peter, which was a little bit weird to see them together, but then they come together and they just seem very like BFF-y, and it kind of works. Yeah. And she apparently relies on him to get the Sir Gossip.
Yeah. I didn't really realize they were good buddies like that. But, you know, this is, you know, these are real relationships. These are their real lives. And just because it wasn't previously highlighted I didn't realize
they had dated long before we ever saw them on the series. Right. So that's what I think made it more weird to me. I was like, oh, so basically you're having lunch with your ex-boyfriend. But then it seemed like she was really seeing it as she's having lunch with her good friend.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
And she's got to get that gossip because she ain't in the mix anymore.
That's true. It's like she's only getting it from Christina. We need a second source to back it all up. Well, I thought it was funny they went to that sandwich shop, Fat Sal's. I've not been there yet, but it was a lot of like ordering food at the counter this episode.
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know. It's like I'm so used to them being at a restaurant and a server just casually dropping off drinks to them. But this episode, it was like, hold on, first we have to go order the food and we're going to show you them ordering the food.
Right, we have to hear all about Stassi's egg salad sandwich. But then she had fries at the table.
Weird.
Maybe I should move on to something a little juicier. Sorry.
I know. Sorry, folks.
Right? So Jax at some point comes out and he's talking as he usually is. And what I thought was very interesting was that this conversation comes up about marriage and the whole thing. And I was kind of thinking, how did Jax go from trying to break up Schwartz and Katie to like encouraging them, oh, you just make it work. If you really want to, you get married, you make it work.
Is this at
if
the
you
puppy?
Don't have money.
When did this happen? Was this at the puppy?
At Tortilla Republic. Oh my god! They ate at so many places this season too, or this episode.
So many. Okay,
Kristen
so
and James
Tortilla Republic.
They're at Tortilla Republic,
which is right next door to Sir, and I've eaten there, and it was so good.
Beet margaritas,
and my margarita was really good. I can't remember what kind I had. Probably a classic.
Really,
it was really good.
They have a lot of cute ones, hot pink ones, etc. But we learned that that's where the Sir servers go to shoot tequila on their breaks before they go back to Sir, because apparently they're not doing enough drinking at Sir. They have to go to Tortilla Republic and drink as well.
As someone who is also in the restaurant industry, I will say I don't drink on the job because I literally could not do my job if I was in any way under the influence. I have a lot of coworkers who can, and they just skip right on over to the restaurant next door sometimes.
Yes.
Imbibe and come right back.
Yeah, I remember doing that at Saddle Rack as well. Cabo Cantina is right next door, and if you couldn't find someone on their break, that's where they could be found.
There you go. Well,
that's what we do here in Hollywood, people.
I'm gonna shut my mouth and not get anyone else in trouble anymore. Anywho, it happens at every restaurant.
So Jax is telling everybody secrets, and he tells this little story of the strip club. Apparently, the ladies went out for a girls' night out, meeting Kristen, Carmen, and Rachel, who we're seeing more of, and I really like getting to know her. But apparently, they were out on a girls' night out and ended up at a strip club, which to me is sort of like, how bad do you need attention? What, you're 3 girls, you need to go to a strip club. But apparently they got kicked out anyway. So whatever they were doing to get attention there was too much. And Jax tells this very long sordid story about Rachel getting punched in the face by a stripper.
So I find that hard to believe.
Right.
Also, Kristen was tweeting during Watch What Happens Live, Kristen and Rachel, that really wasn't the case at all of what really happened. And since this was coming out of Jax's mouth, I have to say I find the details to be shady at best. You know, I feel like, so what? That kind of stuff happens. Like, it also could have been a situation of, you know, in a bar when there are well-known people from television, like how we would see on The Real World happen, people shouting all kinds of nasty things or throwing a drink on them. Like, who knows if that's what happened. So, I mean, I feel like who cares even if what Jax is claiming happened? Like, big deal.
Well, yeah, I can't remember if it was Scheana on Watch What Happens Live or if it was just later in the episode when they said Jax made up that entire story, that there's absolutely no truth to it.
Oh, see? Well, all I know is that the two of the main players are saying it didn't happen. And like, so what if it did? I felt like that wasn't even a juicy story. Maybe if we got to see it happen on camera, it would have been juicy to me. I don't know. But I did, in that scene, I really liked how they were opening up the conversation about, you know, Kristen is looking so far nuts at this point. Which, as a viewer, go ahead and hate on me and think I'm wrong. I don't think she looks super nuts. I think she looks, she has taken it too far, and it's wrong. But it's like, I feel like I understand that she's coming from such a place of hurt that I get it. It's not right that she was going after Tom this whole time and that she's hurting James by putting him on the back burner and constantly talking about Tom and orchestrating the Miami Girl thing. Like, I just feel like I do get the place of hurt where she's coming from.
Yeah, there was some kind of turn there. I don't know if it was just us having her in studio and talking so lengthy with her, but I do feel a lot more sympathetic towards her than I did.
I feel like I have felt sympathetic all season. So
You
call
kinda
me
have been.
crazy.
You have.
Call me crazy. I mean, I don't know. I dated a lot of different people in my 20s. Not a lot. I'm just saying, like, I had like multiple very serious relationships in my 20s, and I get being so hurt that you feel like this is, you know, you need to be
it should be
vindicated.
as important to everyone else as
it is to you. Exactly. So I get it. Us women are sensitive creatures / crazy. Leave us alone.
Right, sensitive / crazy equals Kristen, and we love her.
Yeah.
We did learn also during that little convo that she left with Trevor, which was something that was kind of left open-ended, and I was wondering about if she actually got in the car and drove away and left James there and left with Trevor, because we didn't see her at the end when they went back to the house with Scheana and Shay.
Yeah.
So we now know that she actually left with Trevor, which to me opens up a whole nother batch of questions that I'm sure James asked her and addressed, but we didn't see it. If he
But we didn't get to see it. Dang it. But it looked like when they met up finally to talk it out, that it really was kind of like their first face-to-face.
It did. Yeah.
It didn't seem to me like they had seen each other yet or had a whole bunch of conversations yet, that we got the raw first meetup.
Yeah, like they haven't been spending the night at each other's houses for a couple days.
Right. So I liked that. How Kristen was kind of like hiding her face in shame, and
it was sad,
wasn't
it? It was like a very raw, emotional conversation. One of those ones that you just know, like you can watch it and you're so glad it's not you having that conversation.
Yes. Well, I felt like James seemed so mature and so well spoken, which I know we've said that all season. It may not be who he is in real life, but he's been great on camera.
He sounds that way next to all these people.
Yes, he's been so well spoken and coming across much more mature than his girlfriend, who's 9 years older. So
he took a lot of responsibility for what happened.
Yeah, and I feel that he should have too, because he was kind of pushing her around a little verbally, and then she claims an arm grab. I feel like I froze the screen a lot. I never saw it, but
I would call it a light touch.
Okay.
But I know when you're drinking and things are happening and you're trying to recall the details. And maybe she just has to tell herself that to kind of justify what she did to make herself feel better, which is understandable too.
Totally.
Not correct, but
it upset me when it cut from their conversation to her talking head, like her point of view interview, and she said, well, he knows all along like who I am and what I have to offer. So whether or not that statement was made about that moment in time, or about how she felt about James at that moment, or a different time, or something, you know, if the producer prodded her with a different question, you know, it still sounded awful. And to me, that what she said kind of encapsulates the way she has treated James this entire season.
yes.
So I feel bad for James, and I guess that's what I'm upset with Kristen about, is kind of like using him. I was going to say as her plaything. I think she really cares.
What he said.
Well, there you go. I think she really cares for him, but it also looked like he was just a crutch this season. That, you know, and that's it's a purposeful thing, I'm sure, that the producers do, is not letting us in on a lot of their intimate stuff. You know, so we only got to see not a whole rounded out.
We just see the
side of their
blow-ups. We don't
relationship.
see the lovey-dovey days.
Right.
And we acknowledge that. We know you guys are good.
It's you know, I think they've done a really good job of making Kristen the villain this year. But I still kind of get it.
Yeah, well, it starts to maybe unravel a little bit for me towards the end, but we'll get to that. So we learn that Lisa is having a doggy adoption soiree at Pump Restaurant.
Yes.
They talk a little bit about it. We also learn she's not going to let Jax adopt a dog. I'm very up for everybody out there adopting dogs, but yeah, Jax, I don't know.
Right.
Not so sure about that one.
I just want to say he looked super cute holding that little puppy.
Yeah.
And I was like, see, that's the Jax that girls see when they meet him, and he starts saying all that mushy, gushy, stupid stuff to them, and they fall for it. Like, that's the Jax that everybody
He's not doing
likes.
that wedding ring thing in front of the girls he's trying to hit up.
Oh my
That whole little
God.
scenario was just too much.
It's like a magnet, like
went on.
we
too
get
long.
it, Jax. We get it. We get it. I wonder how many times they like edited that, like looped it over and over
So that they could get it. Yeah.
I know it was like too much.
Well, we do see him have a little sit down with Tom Sandoval. And this whole conversation sort of went not the way that I was expecting when it started. So Tom sits Jax down and is like, hey, dude, we're feeling pretty betrayed. Why you gotta open your mouth all the time? Kristen says that you talk about Miami all the time, as if Jax is just gonna walk up to Kristen and bring it up, which he has no reason to do. He mentions that. I believe him. But then Tom goes off on this whole kind of like self-righteous tangent that, you know, you can't be talking about people like this and you should really just do this, and you know you're not going to have true friendships, you're just going to have club friends or whatever he says. And there was a point where I thought Jax is going to get angry. Jax is going to kind of turn this on him, like, who are you to be telling me how to behave?
Right.
You know, where they're just as bad as each other. I think even both of them can admit that. So I was really surprised that Jax just kind of sat there and really let it sink in. Right?
It almost reminded me of, and I can't exactly place when or where it was, but it almost reminded me, I guess maybe it reminded me of the conversation they had in Miami where Tom took Jax's side at that restaurant where the guys were just having guys dinner and basically said the same thing. So I wondered if this whole puppy party happened closer to when they had just gotten back from Miami and he was just trying to reiterate that. Or
maybe
if in sequences of events, this is talking to Jax again and saying the same thing again.
It almost sounded like it was prompted more by Schwartz and what Jax did, kind of outing Tom Schwartz in the situation with the Vegas girl.
Okay.
That Tom Sandoval was almost sticking up for Schwartz more than he was sticking up for himself. But then, of course, he just talks about himself.
Yeah. Or, I mean, would it have had anything to do with, like, when Katie and Schwartz were, or when Katie just, like, hated Jax and Jax was so anti-Katie and trying to break up her and Schwartz and bringing up the Vegas girl? I don't know. It seemed a little,
know exactly what actually
the
happened.
timing seemed a little off to me. I don't know what it was, but like lecturing him, it kind of felt like he was lecturing him out of nowhere to me, because it seems like he only lectures Jax about this kind of stuff when it's something has just happened.
Something threatening him.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if maybe the whole puppy party was an attempt to get Lisa in there. You know, this is her show and we gotta show her doing her puppy thing, which I do love, and it was super cute.
All those puppies were so cute. I wanted to squeeze them.
Oh, I had to keep rewinding it because I was like, awing so loud that I couldn't even hear what they were saying.
So cute.
Right? So then we have also learned that Kristen has her plan going. I won't say her evil plan. She has her hurt plan putting in action, and she's been hitting up Stassi to go grab some breakfast or whatever, you know, dish a little bit. And Stassi does anticipate that it has something to do with the Miami girl because, of course, last time her and Kristen sat down, it was all about outing someone's cheating.
Yes.
So Stassi kind of knows what's coming, and it is super weird, right? That Kristen, I get that she wants advice on how to get something out of Jax, but couldn't she just ask Rachel that? I mean, I know it's another reason to get Stassi in on the show and whatever, but like, let's just be done with her.
I actually really liked it. It was like, we're finally using Stassi, and it looks like old Stassi. Like, friggin' I love villain Stassi. So I loved that out of nowhere she like crosses her arms and leans back. She's like, so you need my help.
She just turns it on. You can see it in her head.
Yes. She's like, here comes her one-liners, like, so you need my help. And immediately she spills her guts on like, okay, here's how to do it. Here's how to get rid of the body. Jax, exactly. Here's how to get Jax to do everything you want him to do. Dance, little monkey. But I thought it was a really good scene. Because Stassi shows a dynamic, you know, she's got both sides to her now.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just want to urge you to let it go. And this is what everyone's been thinking. Like, as viewers, it was awesome to get this out of someone because it was an intelligent thought that encapsulated everything going on with Kristen this whole season. She's like,
and from someone who's not directly affected.
Yes. And she's like, I just want to let you know, you've already lost your job over this. You're about to lose your boyfriend. You're losing friends. Like, don't lose everything. Like, don't lose your boyfriend over this. Like, you need to let it go. You know, but obviously Kristen thinks about it and doesn't let it go.
Well, I was wondering if it was coming from a place of Stassi thinking about she's pretty much lost all of her friends from not letting things go.
Yeah.
And how she's sort of out of the whole loop. And, you know, she's saying to Kristen, hey, it's not fun to be out here on the outside, friendless. And boyfriendless, of course. She's got a good man now.
Right.
But Stassi, it kind of felt like it was coming from a place of knowing and giving advice. And I was still shocked by it because they showed her saying something nice. I'm sure she does all the time. But we don't get to see it. And yeah, I was shocked by that. But then, of course, it went right back to, well, if you don't want to let it go, then here's how you do it.
Right. She loved Stassi. Welcome back, Stassi.
And she also did finally, now, it is rude to discuss someone's weight until they themselves have mentioned it. And we did notice Stassi looking not quite as super duper skinny as she always has been, which she talked about on last night's episode, but she also looked great. Like she's maybe started to lose some weight. I thought she looked a little thinner in the face. She was kind of rocking outfits that show her arms again. And I thought she looked really pretty on last night's episode.
I think it's kind of crazy at how skinny she used to be.
Yeah.
Like seeing her at a more comfortable, normal weight because she's healthy and happy right now makes me a little worried for how skinny she used to be. But you know what? At least she's in a good place now. But I thought it was hilarious that she was cracking about all the chain smoking and crying. What was the other thing?
Yeah, what did she say? The chain smoking and crying in the alley.
Yeah,
was what kept her so skinny.
The unhappiness.
Oh, well, good. It's good to see her happy. And
Stassi.
Apparently this happiness has brought her the ability to actually give someone some positive advice, telling Kristen to let it go.
Yes.
But she doesn't listen. No. We also learned that Stassi has been approached by Lisa to style the photo shoot.
Which she
turns
down.
Which she says she turns down, but I don't know that that's what's really going to happen. I was shocked, though, that Lisa would even do that after the conversation that they had.
I just think, I mean, Lisa, I feel like Lisa does not do a darn thing for this show unless it's kind of
for the
scripted,
show.
yeah, scripted in by the producers. Like, well, we need you to show up and film with the kids, so you're gonna have to do something, you know.
Style
and it's
the
like,
shoot.
it's like, we really need Stassi involved because it's a full cast day. Well, they'll all be on camera together. The whole point is having all these like awkward, you know, relationships going on with them, and we force them to be all together a whole day. You know, it's like, why don't we try to get Stassi in? Call Stassi, tell her she's gonna style it. You know. So Stassi declined. Man, she was a tough one to film with. I do not wish I was in those producer shoes at all.
Well, I don't think they're going to have that problem next season. But anyway, so
Shade.
Kristen does not take her advice. And we see them all getting together at this big dramatic sit down. Stassi has advised her to make sure Scheana is there, which was a pretty good thought. I mean, you don't have to have Ariana there. Have her BFF there. She's going to care. And Kristen decides she needs Rachel for backup, and because that will make Jax uncomfortable because he screwed Rachel over, which again is something I'd like to know more about. But we probably never will because it happened a long time ago and it doesn't really matter. And Scheana and Shay show up, and no one seems particularly happy to be there.
Well, I enjoyed Sheena's filling in the blanks on Watch What Happens Live. Is that she said she thought it was Kristen was taking them out to apologize for punching James at their wedding, but that's not what it was about at all. So, it was either on the Last Call online or Watch What Happens Live, one or the other. I confused the two.
She said that on Watch What Happens Live.
Okay.
She looked fantastic.
Yes.
On Watch What Happens Live.
Scheana,
by the way.
that dress. Doing it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the reunion. I'm so excited for the reunion because she said she wanted to wear that to the reunion. But
so
I guess
she's got something better on the reunion.
Right.
Oh,
well, or the stylist vetoed it, but she looked.
That could be.
At least she got to. I mean, maybe more people saw her in this on Watch What Happens Live than will the reunion. Who knows?
Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, either way, good looking girl. The hair was fantastic too.
Yes.
So they're finally at this big sit down.
Yeah.
And Kristen, again, this was kind of one of those moments where she got to me. I'm like, yeah, you're right. She's talking about how she gets the blame for everything. And she does take responsibility for some of the stuff she's done, but she points out what everyone else has done and that it's really not all her doing. This isn't her doing at all. It's Tom's, basically.
Well, this has been her case the whole season. It's like, you guys have to cut me a break and stop being jerks to me because you are all doing all terrible things to each other too. Why am I the only one thrown out on the street like prodigal son out here? And you guys are terrible people too, is basically what she's saying. She's like,
what she should have said.
Why did you all stop being friends with me? You know, I'm not, you know, anywho.
Yeah, she had me sort of seeing her point on that one.
Yeah, well, it's like, that's what I've seen all along. Like, that's why I kind of understood where she was coming from all along this whole season, even though I don't agree with what she was doing. Like, I got it that's why she felt that way, and she was very hurt. So this is her moment, because the Miami Girl thing failed. The Miami Girl thing was like how many months in the making, and it failed. So this was her moment, and that sick smile on her face. Oh, yeah. She has never been happier. It was like getting a puppy on Christmas morning. It was like, as soon as Jack started talking, and her body language just like, yes, here we go.
Well, yeah, so he bought the whole little speech, and he started spilling his
I mean, it's not, I guess it's not that hard to get him to talk, because what did she ask him like twice, and he never said anything on camera, and then it's like what, third time she asks him and he just spills
the whole thing. He says that it all happened, he heard it, or someone heard it, that they were there in the room, gives a few more details that we didn't need to know that we won't repeat.
So my question is, do you think it happened? Because we had Tom and Ariana here, and it was like, you know, meeting them and talking to them and hearing their side of it, and then talking to them after the show, it's like, it's so hard to pick a side. And it's like, you know what, Ariana believes her boyfriend. So
I have a little theory about this. I think it absolutely did happen, and I think that Tom and Ariana have had a sit down about it. I think he told her about it when the tabloid first came out. I think he probably said to her some kind of Tom BS that he probably learned from Jax about why it happened, or that he was on drugs, or that he was feeling sad and they had just gotten together. Whatever excuses he could have made, I kind of feel like he told her about it. Some G-rated version that makes him sound not as bad. That makes him sound like this girl manipulated him or something. Right. And that they as a couple have decided to like just put up a wall and put on the happy face and be like, no, this didn't happen. Like, they've already worked it out amongst themselves. And we talked about how Ariana probably doesn't want to admit that her relationship will end in the same way as Tom and Kristen's did. And so maybe I think they're just sort of putting on a front.
See, I don't think that. I think that she really thinks that he, after talking to the two of them, this was after we wrapped the show, and we were all just kind of casually talking about it.
Juicy extra stuff,
yeah,
girl.
It was so exciting. I'm like, wow, I'm talking to them in person about this. This is so major. So, I mean, Ariana just said, look, the only story that hasn't changed through this whole process is Tom's. Tom still has the same story. Kristen has changed all her details. It's like Jax has changed all his, like, you know, keeps telling a different story every version.
Has done that, yeah.
You know, Kristen's got all these different, you know, changing the story about how many times she's talked to this girl, and, you know, when, and this and that and the other. So I think Ariana really firmly believes her boyfriend. And then Jake brought up a great point. He's like, well, even if it did and you're okay with it, then it's no one else's business. Like, you guys got over it as a couple, then it's like, who cares? Then get over it. And she said, well, yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother can of worms. You know, they were like, so that's, you know, a whole different thing that's not even...
They didn't want to be like, yeah, that would be it. So that you're like, hey, so that's what you're doing.
Well, I think her point was
I'm like... at the couch where they were sitting.
I think her point was not that, yeah, okay, you're right. It was like... True. If for couples who get over a, you know, someone being in some infidelity, and they're okay with it and they want to move on and not break up, it's not anyone else's business to tell them they have to break up, you know. So
but
I don't know. I'm just so on the fence. It looks to me through the television as a viewer like it's true, but I don't believe Jax ever. And
which is a smart thing.
I mean, it's literally he said, she said right now. You know, it's...
Do you think it'll ever be resolved?
No, I don't. Because both the Toms are like, nothing happened. Jax wasn't even there. He was down on the beach having sex with her friend.
I do like how they've figured out to just take Jax out of the equation.
Yes.
Right? So that they know that they're going to back each other up. They know that they're going to lie for each other. Right. And they're not so sure about him. So we'll just take it. No, he was on the beach with another girl.
Here's the thing.
Smart boys.
Why don't you just stop being friends with Jax? That's the thing. It's like everybody comes here and talks to us and defends him as like a really good-hearted guy. He's just like a puppy that's bad. Like, what?
He needs to be adopted.
He does the most horrible things to you all and says the most horrible things about you. Like, I'm with Kristen on the whole, like, why am I punished when he's buddy-buddy with, you know? I don't get it.
Well, I assume they'll cover that also at the reunion, because we know from Kristen that they had to binge watch all these last episodes right before the reunion.
Okay.
So Tom definitely saw Jax sitting down at this table outing him to all the girls. And oh my gosh, to be a fly on the wall.
Well,
we'll
can
see
we
should see
talk about like next week? Oh my God. The scene in the alley.
Oh gosh. I know, and everyone's all dressed up and they're calling each other dirty names. I love that.
I'm so excited. Well, so it's like I don't know what happens right after that whole scene, but it just looks so juicy.
I know. Well, it gets pretty juicy at the end of what we saw last night. And that what I thought was super, super interesting, and this is where my theory that it happened and they're just cool with it comes from, is that Scheana said Ariana doesn't care.
Right.
She literally said Ariana doesn't care.
Right.
So I felt like she was either implying, and maybe she does or doesn't know the truth, but implying that Ariana's attitude towards it is like, well, so what? Even if it did happen, fine.
Right.
And to me, that's what you would say if you were trying to say, yes, it happened, but you didn't want to acknowledge it. Like, if they were just cool with it, she'd be like, you know what? I don't care. It's better than just, it didn't happen.
I feel like Scheana's been coming at it all season from like, I told her. I went directly to her as soon as Kristen brought this up to me. You know, as a good, and she reiterated on Watch What Happens Live. And she's like, I would never hold something like that in and not tell my best friend. You know, so it's like, she's like, who cares whether it's true or not? Because Ariana, she believes what she believes, and we're moving on. So,
well, Kristen keeps saying that her goal is not to break up Tom and Ariana.
But it seems like every other.
Do you think that it is her goal? To break them up?
Because she said that in one of her Talking Head interviews when she was like, it was during it was an interview. I'm not sure when she was interviewed about this and what the producer's prodding question was. Right. But it was intercut into when she and Tom had just had their like crying, sobbing talk in Miami. And then it was like, I'm gonna break Tom and Ariana up.
She did say that.
Like evil queen. So she did say it. I don't know if that was her motive the whole time. Maybe in the beginning of the season it was more of her motive. And then as time wore on, it became more about, no, you guys are, nobody forgave me for what I did wrong. And it was all about being vindicated.
She just wants someone else to be held accountable.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it was last call that she admitted, like, when Tom finally said, yeah, it happened, like, that was it. That was her moment of closure. As long as Jax, or who did I say? What I meant was Jax. As soon as Jax admitted it, admitted what happened, with Tom and that girl, whether it's true or not, like that was her moment of closure and vindication. So hopefully things get better from here. I don't know.
Well, we know it's definitely going to go downhill between Kristen and Scheana. That friendship is over, imploded.
I mean, you can see what's going to happen next week from here. It's like she and Scheana kind of are already arguing at dinner. Scheana's like, I'm over it. I'm done. I'm sick of you trying to sabotage Tom and Ariana, basically. And then it's like all the fallout's going to happen from, of course, Kristen goes, I'm sure, spreading it all around, which is how they all end up in the alley with Tom saying, Kristen, did you say this? Jax, did you say this? And the blame goes around, round and around.
And when was Kristen ever banned from SUR socially, as Lisa said? Because we see her there. We know she's there all the time now. And then James DJs at Pump and she's there. Well, and that happens at SUR and she's there. So I don't know that she ever really stayed away as she was told to do.
I don't think she did.
No.
Whatever. So they're not enforcing it. I'm fine with that.
Oh, we love it. We have to go to SUR and just watch.
Stir it up.
Just watch. So on to that. Let's move on to a little bit of news and gossip, shall we?
Let's do it.
Shall we move along? I have a couple things here. Let's see. Oh, as I said before, Jax said about the reunion, it is just as bad, if not worse, than last year. I don't know if you all remember that, but it was crazy. And he also said, for some reason, everything always comes back to me.
Duh, Jax, because you say everything. You're involved in everything that goes bad. And then you tell everyone.
I think Tom's, or you lie about it to her. Give it to him. Yeah, I think Tom Schwartz and Tom Sandoval are both finally going to tell him.
Give it to him. Tell him where to go.
Yeah. Remember after last year's reunion, they weren't friends anymore either.
That's true. Well, that's because Jax said.
Well, yeah, that was a better reason.
Slept with Kristen. Well, Oh my God, I am so excited for this reunion. I know that Andy last night on Watch What Happens Live was just like, I just want to say Vanderpump Rules is the best show on television. The reunion is crazy. I'm not going to say what happens, but it's so good.
He was so excited.
I know. I was like, oh, Andy, this is our moment together. We are just as big of fans as Vanderpump Rules as you are.
Oh, I love it.
So good. I'm so excited for the reunion. So next week's finale, then we move on to reunion. So I can't wait.
We're getting there. We're getting there. And which means we still have a whole full month left of Vanderpump Rules.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
Hopefully.
We're going to see Jax do some more crazy things. People were wondering this week if Carmen and Jax, they've seen them hanging out. Other people have tweeted photos of them together, and someone called Carmen out and tweeted at her and was like, you know, stop trying to act like you're not with him. You are, and that's stupid. And Carmen responded by posting a photo of herself and another guy with a rose and saying that they were celebrating their 1-year anniversary.
Okay.
But then later cleared it up and said, oh, our friendship anniversary. So Carmen be playing some games too, everybody.
There you go.
She's either trying to throw us off or she's trying to make Jax jealous. There was also some behind-the-scenes production source that came out this week and said that there will definitely be main characters cut from this cast next year. Next season.
I read this. Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of due to the salaries getting up there so high. You know, they'll be in their 4th season. They have to get more money every time. We already know they're making quite a bit.
Okay.
So they're going to cut some people, and that they will definitely be bringing in some brand new cast and some new SUR workers that you haven't even met yet.
See, and this whole time, I thought we were leading up to maybe moving over to Pump. Like leaving the SUR crew behind and moving over with a whole new sloppy cast of Pump, but we'll see.
That would make sense.
We'll see. Well, let's do predictions then.
Okay.
Are we have any other news?
I just had one little thing that Jax Instagrammed that he was getting Botox. And people were like,
that too.
Why would you do that? And I'm like, because then he gets it for free.
That's true.
So Jax is getting Botox, everybody. Newsflash. As if we didn't know.
Shocker.
And moving on to predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV
Predictions. What do you think is going on in that alley, girl?
Okay, so obviously it's like the year-end party at SUR where crap goes down, per usual, for the finale. I don't know. I wonder what happens with the whole Stassi and Jax, because I know she wants to run out. Maybe they'll have a little confrontation.
What's up with that? They've seen each other since they've broken up. They kissed one time at her mom's house. I mean, they've definitely,
well,
she has her closure. She's moved on. It's been years. I can't wait to see why the heck she feels she needs to run away from him.
I think he makes her physically ill. I do. Anyhow, I want something super exciting with Tom and Katie to happen, because we see her kind of giving him the ultimatum.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna break up.
See, I'm so confused.
I still think they were broken up when they were on Watch What Happens Live.
Yes, so that was so great when you planted that seed in my mind, and now I'm like, oh my God, Christy was right, blah blah blah. They're probably broken up, but they were posting so many pictures of themselves together constantly when the season first started airing, and he was definitely with her in Vegas at her birthday recently. So I'm so on the fence, but I really hope there's like an exciting like ultimatum breakup at the end of the not that I want them to break up, it's just I want that for the show, right, for my enjoyment. Well, and maybe they did break up, and maybe they got back together or something, because maybe they're engaged. That's another thing, like maybe they're engaged. That could be what they're hiding. Exactly. Never know. I don't know. Thought about that. I just keep wondering why the heck she's so obsessed with getting married. I mean, I think that's all she just talks about is like having a wedding, it's like that has nothing to do with getting married, has nothing to do with being in a marriage. Well, it could also, and you are clearly not ready, and neither is your boyfriend to be in a marriage. I mean, it could also maybe have to do with friends at home that are all her age but already married, you know, biological clock ticking. Like when I see girls who are almost 30 and freaking out about getting married, it's always like an age thing in this country about like 30's like so over the hill, and you know, life is over and yeah, so maybe that's part of it. Well, we'll see if she gets over it or gets what she wants, and it's not another ring on a string, people. I'm so excited for next week. I can't even deal. Oh, you guys, make sure that you are tweeting with us all week. Please hit me up at Christy Reports. Let me know what you think is going to happen. If you're right, we'll call you out. We'll give you a shout out. If you're wrong, we'll still talk about it because it's juicy and we love it too. So please hit us up. Megan, where can everyone talk to you? Yes, I am on Twitter at Megan Stecher. Also on Instagram. I love Instagram at Megan Stecher. I have a fun little thing I posted that from Andy last night. So go to my Instagram.
Yeah, everybody regram Megan. And make sure that you are rating us 5 stars on iTunes, subscribing to us on YouTube, and please right now, if you're watching on YouTube, give us that thumbs up button. We love you for it. We love you. Tweet me and tell me you did it, and we'll shout you out. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye,
we'll
guys.
see you for the big finale next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.